Hello everybody, it's I, Zankoku, bringing you a movie review. Today the movie I'm reviewing for you is Annabelle Creation. So this movie is a prequel to the movie Annabelle, which was a spin-off of the movie Conjuring. And so the first movie, Annabelle, was kind of not that great. So what about the second one, which is now a prequel? Was that going to be any better? Well, let's find out. So, Annabelle is about a man who is a doll maker. He and his wife and his young daughter live in a house which looks like in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, one morning, going back from church, they get into an accident and the daughter dies. Fast forward several years, and the man decides to open up his house to a bunch of orphan girls. Now, this house is like a castle. It's got lots of rooms and upstairs and downstairs, all kinds of awesome stuff. And the girls are pretty geeked about the situation. This is such a great place. And the man says there's only two places you cannot go. One is the main bedroom, which is where he stays, and his wife, who has been in an accident and no longer walks around, and you can kind of hear her call for him using this bell to ring anyways. And upstairs there is a locked door, and it should stay locked, and that is because that is the room of his dead daughter. So the girls, of course, they go around, you know, doing their thing. They think the guy is kind of creepy. He's very silent, very stoic, doesn't really talk too much, does a lot of grunting and whatnot. The wife is very mysterious. They, you know, try to peek at through the door, you know, when he goes to see her, to see what's up with her. They see that she's got kind of like a Phantom of the Opera type mask going on one side of her face. And of course some of the girls are talking about like, oh, she stalks around at night and she needs to feed. You know, they kind of get this sort of idea in their head of spooky happenings. And of course there's that room that they can't get into anyways. So back when the guy's daughter was alive, they used to play hide and seek, and she would slip notes to her father. You know, they'll say like, find me, and then, oh, you're getting close, and things like that. Well, one night, one of the girls who was suffering from polio, I guess she's recovering, but she still has very limited mobility. She's got a brace on her legs. She has to walk around with assistance. She can't really go up and down stairs well. And she finds in her room someone slipped a note under the door, and it says, find me. And then she goes out into the hallway, and then the room that is locked, something slips out from underneath that door, and it says, I'm in here. And of course, the door is now unlocked, because I guess ghosts are really good at picking locks nowadays. You know, don't lock your doors, kids, because your ghost's going to get you, I guess. Anyways, so she gets in, and of course that sort of starts the cascade of evil happenings, because once, you know, what was locked away is now free to roam to cause chaos among all the people in the house. Now, I'm not going to really say any more about the storyline because I don't want to give anything away. These type of movies, you just kind of get a sense for what's going on and then allow the scares to happen without having anything going on in your mind where you're like, oh, I know it's going to be this scene and this scene. No, it's best you try to fill it in with your mind first and then get surprised as things go along. Anyways, I'm just saying that this movie does a really good job of setting up the creepy atmosphere and the sense of tension that builds up throughout the movie until you get a really, really frantic and frenetic ending, which is really, really cool and also, I would say, kind of satisfying. Anyways, so let's get into the scores. And this is a horror movie, so I'm going to score it like I do all my other horror movies. So violence and gore, I am going to give it a 1.5 out of 5. There isn't really a lot that happens on camera. Most of the nasty stuff happens off camera. There are some finger breaking and some intestinal losses, but that all seems to happen off camera. You just have some stabby, punchy type of things, you know, regular physical violence, and nothing more spectacular than that. But so I'm giving it a 1.5 out of 5. Nothing really bloody or disgusting. Then I'm going to go with shock value, and this is the one that really goes up high, and that is going to be a 4 out of 5. This movie is jam-packed with jump scares. Some people might say, oh, that's bad and that's cheap, but there's nothing cheap about these jump scares. These jump scares are purposeful, they are well-placed, and they are awesome. They do a great job of building up tension, and the fact that it uses the sound engineering so wonderfully, the way the music and the sound effects and the creaking and the whispers, as well as the silence in this movie. I mean, they use silence so well in this movie. I could actually start to kind of hear the other movie in the adjacent theater coming through the walls because of the use of silence that is being done in this movie. And it works because you are kind of there and you kind of hold your breath as they hold the music and the sound. And I think the payoffs are great and wonderful. They got my heart pumping. They got the adrenaline rushing. They got people jumping. I could hear people go, "Oh my God!" in the theater, and that's a great thing. And you know, if you don't like it, I mean, I guess that's your opinion. But man, I think I like it because it creates that roller coaster feel. So this is really, really cool. 4 out of 5 for shock value. Now let's get to acting. Acting, I'm also giving it a 4 out of 5. This movie, I love the main characters. They do a really good job. The woman who plays the nun, she does a spectacular job of being a kind and compassionate nun, and I know sometimes in movies the nun's not usually the kind of compassionate one. They're kind of like, you know, strict and whatever, but no, she does a really bang up job as kind of a motherly figure to these girls. You also have the main girls. The one that everyone's going to be talking about, of course, is Lulu Phillips, who was also in a movie called Ouija, Origin of Evil, which was also a prequel to a movie that was not all that great. And that movie was awesome, and she does a really good job, even though I wouldn't consider her the main character, but she does a really good job. And the guy who plays the husband, he did an excellent job. It's a very difficult task for you to do a lot of emoting without actually talking, just looks and grunts. The way he does it, I think, was spot on. It did a really good job, so very solid acting. Yeah, there's some throwaway characters in there that seem to just be window dressing just to get the, I guess, quote-unquote body count up, even though, I mean, I don't think there's that much death in the movie, but I think they were there just kind of like to fill out space. So anyways, but I give it a 4 out of 5 for acting. Plot, this is where it gets a little weak. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5, a little bit above average. The plot really isn't doing anything special. It's nothing new. They're not reinventing the wheel here. It's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of predictable moments in this movie, but the problem is that this doesn't drag down the score too much overall because everything just works so well. But yes, the plot is not all that spectacular. It's your basic haunted house, possessed doll type horror movie. So 3 out of 5. So now comes to Nudity, which is a 0 out of 5. What do you expect? There's not really going to be anything going on in this movie, and whatever. 0 out of 5. Now the enjoyment factor. Enjoyment factor is a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this movie. Everything, all of its pieces come together very well. It creates that wonderful tension that just ratchets up all the way through the ending. The ending I found satisfying. They threw in bits and pieces of things here and there to tie it to the whole bigger Conjuring universe. I know, yeah, that's a thing, the Conjuring universe now. Everything's a franchise. But I liked it. I liked the little nods. There's like this scene where this adoptive parents had this gift for this girl, and I was like, oh wow, I like it. Just little moments like that to really like ratchet up that score. It kept me involved, it kept me engaged, and it kept me very interested, and I really liked it. Liked it so much that I might have to revisit the first Annabelle just to see if I maybe did not give it a fair shake. I know it's probably still bad, but whatever. You know, doing that's still pretty effective, so kudos. And so, of course, my overall impression is also a 4 out of 5. A very solid movie. It does its job well. It's well executed, well acted, and the visuals, the sound design, everything just is wonderful in this movie. I highly recommend it. This is definitely a prequel that goes up and outdoes the original, and then some. It is right up there with the other Conjuring movies. It is really great. It's really that strong, and I suggest you go out and watch it. So there you go, Annabelle Creation. What did you think? Did you like it? Leave a comment in the comment section, and I will talk to you guys later. And remember, internet, stay sexy, and don't play with demon-possessed dolls. I mean, sure, you know, it might seem like a good idea at the time, but don't!